Hey everybody, Final Flame Productions back with another Dexter video, and today we're back with more of the aftermath and some really interesting interviews with Clyde Philips, who's the showrunner and writer for Dexter season 1 to 4 and Dexter New Blood. He's the showrunner for, and he was a big part of creating this very controversial ending of Dexter New Blood, which, I mean, if you look over the internet, if you look on YouTube, which I've been looking videos the last week or so, on Twitter, the reaction from people is just really, really negative. And you know, it's really bizarre because what I find is interesting. There's a couple of interviews here I want to let you listen to. Clyde Philips, he's done interviews with like a Screen Rant, and he does an interview with Gold Derby YouTube channel, I believe, or something. But we'll let you listen to this one first. I mean, there was another interview where he said that hardcore fans won't like the finale. The hardcore fans will be annoyed by the finale, but he said smart hardcore fans will know that it's inevitable. So he's essentially saying that only the smart people will like it, and the other people will be consumed with anger and disappointment. And so he's kind of what I've noticed in all his interviews, he seems to be slamming season 5 to 8 because he wasn't a part of that, I believe, or I think he may have had some small part of one of them seasons, but not really. And he's slamming the season 8 finale, and he's bumming up and saying how great he's applauding and slapping his own back about the Dexter New Blood finale, which, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to know at the moment when emotions are raw, but it seems like people hate the New Blood finale possibly worse than the season 8 finale. But just listen to some of these interviews. I don't think he's coming off very good in this, and especially, you know, if he delivered a really great finale, then maybe he could be kind of smug and kind of patronizing to the people. You know, let's be honest here, season 5 to 8 there was ups and downs in those seasons of Dexter. But there's a lot of stuff people love, and to be honest with you, except for maybe season 8, people liked much of those seasons, and to be honest with you, some of those seasons had a lot better endings than what he served up in New Blood. But here's an interview he has with this YouTube channel called Golden Derby. So this is where he talks about season 5 to 8.
What did you want to achieve or address this time around to make up for where the show perhaps sputtered towards its disappointing series finale?
Well, basically, we all wanted to not just redeem the end of of season 8, but to acknowledge that time had passed, and this is not Dexter season 9. And to regain the trust of the audience, because I think in the last 4 years, particularly in the last couple of years of the show, all of the code and intimacy and rigor that Dexter would put himself through slipped away, and then the audience was watching a different show than they had signed up for in the first 4 years. And I think we've achieved that. I know we've achieved that in Dexter New Blood.
Yeah, I can't quite put my finger on it, but the first 4 episodes I've seen, there's just that same sharp...
He's pretty much throwing all the writers and the directors who created it, all the great actors, like Ray Stevenson, who's in, I forget which season he was in, and you've got characters like Lumen and all those brilliant characters who were in season 5 to 8. There's some really great stuff. I mean, I know season 8 was a disappointment. But he talks about these seasons, and he talks about that stuff as if, because he wasn't a part of it, well, since he left, it was all terrible. And so he's back now, and it's amazing. And in fairness, Dexter New Blood was good up until episode 10, but I don't think anybody really thought it was a top, it wasn't as good as season 5 or season 4 or season 1 or 2 or 3. I even think it was better than season 5. I'm getting mixed up now as I sit here now, but I liked the Ray Stevenson season. I liked the season with those group of dudes who were those sick psychopath group of guys. I thought that was a good season. I didn't like seasons I didn't like the season 8 too much at all, but there's a lot of great stuff. Is essentially what I'm trying to say is, and he's trying to suggests that when he left, because he was the showrunner, and in fairness, he did probably the best seasons, which were season 1 to 4, but to completely denigrate and talk down and, suggest that season 5 to 8 was all terrible because he left and his genius was gone. I think that's a load of nonsense, to be honest with you, and it comes off really patronizing and calling fans who don't like his finale not smart, really irritating. But here's another one where he's chatting with Screen Rant Plus, and he talks about season 8 finale and compared to his finale.
How did you feel about the controversial finale of the last season of Dexter?
I feel the same way Michael does and the way most people do. I think it failed to satisfy. And it also, I think, broke a certain trust with the audience that we had built up in the early years. And I think it was a little coy and not successful. And I mean, look, let's just be blunt. If you Google the top 10 worst series finales ever, Dexter's going to be on every list.
Mm-hmm.
People were so disappointed. And so we have in a non-religious sense here, a chance for redemption. And I think that's one of the reasons, to go back to your original question, why people are so excited.
What this guy is, he really must have thought that this Dexter New Blood finale was amazing, because these interviews, in retrospect, are just absolutely cringy and embarrassing. So he keeps talking about trust, that he's getting back the audience's trust. Episode 10 of New Blood absolutely killed the trust that people may have had with New Blood season, because Dexter kills somebody out of the blue, an innocent person who would he'd never do. You have the whole ketamine injection into his victims' necks, which doesn't ring true with other seasons. You've got the small town detective who somehow solves all this mystery of Dexter Morgan that nobody in the first 8 seasons could solve. And then you have Harrison, who just turns on his father for no reason and kills him. So he thinks that this is return to form. He thinks that this is the show back on its right path. I mean, this guy is. I have no idea. He really. I mean, in fairness, the season was all right up until the finale. I mean, it wasn't great, but I think he's completely misjudged. And is he the one that? I mean, Michael C. Hall agreed with this finale, but I mean, you listen to this. I mean, I listened to this and I think back at some of the great episodes and storylines from season 5 to 8, and him denigrating those seasons and talking about them, that they went off the boil and it wasn't the same Dexter, and some of the things Dexter doing wasn't right. And then for him to create episode 10 of New Blood, which was one of the most infuriating and awful finales. He's talking about here, if you Google worst finales, you'll find Dexter. Yeah, you'll find Dexter probably twice now, because he's just said that he's just delivered a finale that's possibly worse than season 8. And season 8 was bad, but as I rewatched season 8 earlier today, I think it was more of a disappointing and anticlimactic ending rather than god awful and terrible. I mean, killing Deborah the way Deborah died and the hurricane thing were dopey. But I don't think that the Dexter character ever went off the boil, as he says. And if the Dexter character did, lose a bit of its momentum and lose a bit of its original kind of interest, it definitely lost it in episode 10 of the New Blood. So again, what do you think of this? Clyde Philips, showrunner for Dexter season 1 to 4 and showrunner for this New Blood season, again making a laugh and talking down seasons 5 to 8 while pretending that his finale is this masterpiece and genius that will regain the trust of the audience, when he writes a really plot holes galore, killing everybody's favorite character in a terrible way. He's in other interviews, he's talking about spin-offs with Harrison. This, I'll give you some advice, Clyde. This is not getting the trust back of the audience. That this is ruined the trust. And if there's going to be any more Dexter with Michael C. Hall or without, I think the audience, the viewership is going to be way down because we've been burned twice, and I think New Blood's finale is worse. What do you think about these interviews? Bizarre stuff, patronizing, and kind of disrespectful to some of the really talented people that were a part of season 5 to 8. What do you think? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Thank you.